Hello, hello. Your dream life comes from and with discomfort and annoyance. Your dream life is not the absence of discomfort and annoyance. Your dream life, your dream expression comes with discomfort and annoyance. I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I saw a creator share, I forget who it was. But if you know who it was, feel free to tag them. But I saw a creator share that the cost of community is annoyance. And this really struck something in me because I was like, whoa. I have been seeking an unattainable reality where nothing bothers me. And I wasn't necessarily doing this consciously, but I was seeking something where I would be so unbothered, where I would be so at peace that nothing would bother me. And I've been faced in my reality in the last few days with things that are really fucking annoying. And if I were to sit here and say, oh, these things that are really fucking annoying are proof that I am not living in my dream reality, that I'm not living from my dream expression, I would take my dream reality and my dream expression away from myself. But by recognizing that discomfort, that annoyance is actually part of the path of growth, we open ourselves up to so much more support. If you're never feeling discomfort, if you're never feeling annoyed, you never need support. And I saw my friend Rachel talking about uncovering Rachel, actually I don't know what her username is on here. I'll tag her. But she was talking about how there is this magician wound that utilizes, and the origin of this is like utilizing all of your magic in order to solve or alchemize all of your problems, but then you don't need community. And from that place of not having community, out of the need of not having it, you inherently lock yourself away from actually having support and from having the mindsets and perspectives of other people to come and kind of like check you when things are off. And I was like, wow, have I been doing this? Yeah, I have. I've been so adamant about, I've cultivated so much energy and inner chi and knowledge and wisdom and knowing to know how to alchemize things, to know how to, utilize my anger for positive expression. And right now in my life, what I'm being faced with is a lot of things that bring about this anger and annoyance, and I'm learning that I don't need to just run away from that. I don't need to just run away from the spaces that are making me angry or annoyed. It's actually in my power to sit here and to face it. To sit here and to be with it. And as a little girl, I learned that that anger was something that needs to be outside. Like, it cannot be in the room with us. Like, if you're angry, like, you need to go somewhere else. And I know exactly why and where I learned this. I'm not going to go into that here. But I've been realizing that because of that upbringing, I never actually allowed myself to express and to feel anger. But that anger is actually the portal to setting boundaries. That anger is actually the pathway to choosing a different story. And so I'm learning that this anger, that this discomfort, it doesn't mean anything unless I make it mean something. And often those periods of anger or annoyance or frustration, they're actually the greatest portals to understanding your own needs and desires, and therefore then expressing them. And when we cut ourselves off from being able to express our innate emotions, the anger, the frustration, we actually cut ourselves off from the inner transformation that happens when we learn to accept ourselves in those states. And so the key is not to push them away or to make spaces where you feel annoyance or anger or people that you're surrounded. It's not to make those people bad. It's about learning to accept yourself as you feel those emotions and understanding what those emotions are calling forth from you. It's about learning to understand your needs and your values. And also, it's about bringing in separation without needing to actually separate. It's about being able to hold duality. It's about being able to hold polarity. When we're constantly saying, oh, anger is bad, annoyance is bad, all of these spaces that bring these emotions out of me, they're bad. First of all, we're telling ourselves that we're unsafe to express those emotions in safe spaces. And second of all, we're constantly cutting ourselves off from the support that's available to us when we show up as we are. When you can begin to show up as you are and move from a state of knowing that it's okay for you to show up as you are, no matter what, if you're annoyed, if you're angry, and you're allowed to express those things to other people. You bring in this layer of acceptance that allows you to reparent your inner child, and it shows your inner child like, hey, we have a safe space that we can land no matter what. And in building this foundation for yourself, you're less likely to fall back on those spaces that don't feel safe, but rather that feel normal, that feel comfortable. The point of growth is not to feel comfortable. The point of growth is not to feel comfortable. The point of growth is to understand that it's okay for you to show up in all the different phases of you. I'm currently reading this book called Do What You Love, The Money Will Follow. One of my many thrifted books. And in this book, she talks about the importance of expressing your distinctive self, and how when we accept the dark side of ourselves, that's the pathway to actually living in our true expression. And a lot of the time when we have these unwanted habits or emotions or tendencies that arise, it's because we aren't actually accepting the angry parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that feel frustrated, the parts of ourselves that are dissatisfied. And so the key here is to let yourself feel what you feel without shaming yourself for it. there's probably a very good reason why you feel what you feel. And this is where working with your intuition really comes into play. And this is often how many of us are initiated into working with our intuition. A lot of the times, one of the biggest blocks from actually being able to hear your intuition, to be able to hear the whispers of the universe, is you not allowing yourself to express as you are. And so one of the ways that I have found to really work through this and to actually bring in this authentic self-expression and really allow myself to express from a space of authenticity without needing to, make it look okay to other people, without needing to make it look how it should, is through channeling light language, and then also through somatic. So here today, I would love to just channel some light language for you. Hopefully this inspires you to do something similar in your own time, or maybe even in conversation with this. And then we're gonna allow ourselves to move through a little bit of somatic shaking to kind of actually we'll do somatic shaking first. So you can go ahead and just find some space where you are. You can be standing, you can be sitting. Lean into your edge. The discomfort is where the magic is. You might feel weird, you might feel silly, but in that is how you break past the barrier of who you are and into who you are becoming. So, we're just gonna do a little somatic shaking. You can shake however you want. Sometimes it's really aggressive. Sometimes it's really soft. Sometimes it just looks like a waddle. But I invite you to just shake it out. It might feel weird. It might feel uncomfortable. But I promise you, the discomfort cannot hurt you unless you make it mean something about who you are. We're going to do this for like 15 more seconds. And then we're going to take a deep breath. And I want you to notice how you're feeling in your body. Maybe you feel heat. Maybe you feel a sense of discomfort. Maybe you feel a sense of joy. And just allowing that to arise within you. And sitting with that. Noticing that. Being one with that. And I'm going to bring in some light language. And this may feel uncomfortable. But again, the discomfort, the annoyance, it's actually your capacity to feel supported. That's what that's showing you. You're allowed to feel what you feel. You're allowed to feel uncomfortable. You're allowed to feel annoyed. And you're also allowed to express yourself from that place. It does not make you bad. It does not make you wrong. It does not make you less spiritual. It makes you human. Yakati usia tana ese avuata yatole. Yakari utiani easia yakali utiai siatia. Yatiali akati usiari etiakitishi usiti. Oftentimes when we're healing, we go through a period of discomfort before getting better. Sometimes when we're sick, this looks like getting a fever to sweat out all of the toxins. Sometimes this looks like diarrhea. Sometimes this looks like isolation. It's unique to each specific situation. The discomfort is the pathway to feeling fully supported in all that you've become. The mistake that a lot of humans make is that they are unable to see themselves as an antenna, and instead they attach the emotions, giving them a space to live in the body rather than allowing them to express through them. When you're in a state of flow, it's not that you don't feel discomfort, it's that you don't allow yourself to attach to and make meaning of that discomfort. Most people who find success do so from pushing past their comfort zone, not by staying in it. You may feel like you're failing or being weird, but actually, in that space of unknown potential is where you create the opportunities for yourself to feel supported in the ways that you're calling in. Oftentimes, human takes themselves way too seriously, and this is what causes the rigidity and the trying to sort and define everything into categories in order to make it right or wrong, but actually the beauty in life is allowing all to be as it is and allowing the energy to move through you without judgment. So again, I want to say that your discomfort, your annoyance is actually the portal to allowing you to feel seen, to feel heard first by yourself. It's uncomfortable to see things that we don't want to see. It's uncomfortable to be with the emotions that we have buried so deep. It's uncomfortable for me to sit on here and know that people are scrolling and watching me say light language out loud, speak to a screen. It's uncomfortable for me. But I also know that it is the pathway to the thing that I desire most, which is what? Community. Feeling supported, feeling seen, authentically expressing my truth. And I know the more that I do it, the less discomfort I will feel. And sometimes that discomfort never goes away. It's like people who jump off of cliffs. They love to do that shit. But the discomfort, the edge right before they go, it never goes away. It's something that they choose to consciously overcome each time. And this is what you get to do. And in terms of showing up in community spaces, it can feel uncomfortable to let yourself feel seen. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel sometimes annoying to be around other people. Coming from someone who loves to isolate, who loves to hermit, okay? It can sometimes be so annoying to be around other people. the way that they're showing up and they're doing it differently than you would do it. The path is not to exile yourself. The path is to recognize that you do not have to be the same as them, that they are actually showing you your potential for how you would do it differently and how you get to show up. And that is the beauty of being in community. The beauty is in inviting that separation in through being together in oneness. So the next time you're feeling discomfort, I want you to take a moment. I want you to just shake it all out. Shake it out of the body. Be with it. Be with the discomfort. Allow it to move through you. Allow it to propel you into your actions. And trust that just because you feel discomfort does not mean anything is wrong. The discomfort is proof of your success. And your dream life, your dream expression, does not come without discomfort, does not come without annoyance. There will always be discomfort. There will always be annoyance. It's about how you choose to show up and meet it. So how are you choosing to show up and meet the discomfort and the annoyance in your life? And this will show you a lot about how you choose to respond in relationships, how you choose to respond to money. Because if you show up to the discomfort and the annoyance and you run away from it, that's likely what you're doing in your relationships. That's likely what you're doing with money. But if you choose to see the discomfort, see the annoyance, and make beautiful meaning out of it, or make it mean nothing at all, or simply just allow it to be there with you, knowing that it's part of the flow of life. This is how you transcend into the next level. This is how you open yourselves to authentic expression, to your dream life. All right, that's all I have for today. Go in love and peace, and I will see you next time. Mahalo.